What's up, algoriters? It is Friday night, and welcome to Celebrity Court of Public Opinion, where we dig into the legal battles rattling and rocking the headlines and figure out what lessons we can learn. I'm Al Reynolds, your judge, as well as your showrunner, and I'm ready to guide you through tonight's controversies. We got a lot on our docket. Bo Jackson wins a major payout in a messy family dispute. Busta Rhymes turns himself in on an assault charges, and Method Man finds himself in the hot seat after an alleged altercation at Staten Island's gym. Then we'll look into Rudy Giuliani's high-profile defamation settlement with our Georgia election workers. And finally, Wendy Williams' ongoing guardianship amidst her dementia struggles. And of course, we're on top of it all with our signature segment, Guilty or Not Guilty in the Court of Public Opinion. But before we get started, let's meet our legal beagles that are joining us this Friday night. First up, yeah, you know it, the fiery civil attorney, Shatan Turner. Welcome back to Celebrity Court.
Thanks for having me back, Your Honor. Hey, algoriters.
Joining that fiery civil attorney is the shit you didn't learn in law school author, Attorney Jason Weiss. Welcome back to Celebrity Court of Public Opinion.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. And Attorney Turner, we need that fire. Let's go. No,
I got
you. And last, but definitely not least, humorous at law, humorous in person, humorous in my courtroom all the time, Attorney Sean Carter. Welcome back to Celebrity Court.
Happy to be here, Your Honor. Feeling kind of fancy. I just had a pedicure today. I will show you my toes, but I'm not that flexible. I'm old, but you get it. I'm fancy.
You shaved your toes.
Oh, man, looking good, man. Looking good in the toes.
Oh, all right, everybody. Come on now. Please hit that like button. Also, hit that subscribe button. If you are subscribed, be sure to hit that share button. Invite some friends over here to learn about the law while we gossip about the people dealing with the law. Turn on those notifications. And as always, we love it when you drop down into the comments. All right, let's see. First up, sports legend Bo Jackson just won a $21 million judgment. Oh, wow. Yes, you heard me correctly. A $21 million judgment against his own niece and nephew after accusing them of some salacious findings. ESPN reports the court found the relatives acted in bad faith and caused major financial losses. All right. To unpack this, I'm going to bring our resident legal analyst who said that they wanted this one. I think it was.
I got it, Your Honor.
Sean Carter. Sean Carter, tell me this. What do courts look for when deciding if there is this type of malice behavior and mismanagement, especially when it's a family member? $21 million to me seems like a lot. What we got?
It was a whole lot. So here's what happened is, a couple of years ago, Bo's niece and nephew, I believe, decided that, you know what, everybody thinks a lot about Bo, and they don't know Bo like we know Bo. And so we're going to tell everybody, Bo, that you ain't right unless you give us some of this money. And so they started threatening they were going to release his stuff on email. They were going to put it on Snapchat, on Instagram. They were going to events that he was hosting, charity events, and said they were going to tell all of his business. And I imagine Bo got some business, all right? And so he filed a lawsuit last year, got a $21 million verdict. Great. Except his broke relatives don't have $21 million. So just today, they came to a settlement of what the terms are going to be. Now, they didn't say what they're going to be, but I know at the very least, they're going to have to keep Bo's name out of their mouth.
Well, let me ask you this. So this is an extortion case, correct?
Absolutely.
All right, so let's go to you, Attorney Turner. What do you have to prove? What's the burden of proof of showing extortion occurred? Now, hold on to that. And extortion to the level of $21 million when they didn't even get to extort him.
Well,
what am I missing here?
The judge, well, one, they did not do a good job with their defense because they didn't show up. So that's part of the reason why they ended up under these extreme terms. Bo was able to persuade the judge of everything that he said was true because he didn't have anybody to fight against, right? What we know apparently is Bo knows how to win, right? And this case actually is an example of how you can choose your friends, but you can't choose your family. So they were doing incredibly egregious things, as Attorney Carter indicated. And the judge said that any reasonable person would suffer emotional distress because of it. So not only did he get this high verdict, but he also got an order of protection against them because they were harassing him to the point where he felt unsafe.
Wow.
To Attorney Carter's point, what I suspect is that, Bo's 61. Bo was a hottie when he was competing. He, is a very accomplished athlete. And I mean, look at those abs, right? He has an image that he's trying to portray. And because these folks are family, they became aware of some information that he did not want public. And they kept threatening to make it public. They were going on social media talking about they were going to reveal pictures and text messages and other things that were going to be damaging for him. And one of the morals of this story is, if you have those things, you should just do it, right? Instead of to do it, because the threats are what caused him the emotional distress and also made the judge rule that they had to take all of that stuff down.
So let me just put this before I get to you, Attorney Weiss. And guys, I apologize. I am moving, and so there are no lights in this house, and I am sitting over here by 2 candles trying to light this room up to do this show for you guys. So that's why I'm looking all orange. I apologize. I promise on Monday I probably will not be looking so orange. But okay. For $21 million, extortion, and you fighting this hard against a family member, let's just pretend, what could be that horrible that you don't want anyone to know?
Well, first of all, extortion is, if you don't do X, I am going to do Y. Okay. And what it is if you don't do X, I am going to do something in report you to the police, report you to the FCC, some government agency, the FBI. So that's what extortion is. With regard to the 21 million, look, it could be that they did this, and the court found that they did it in such bad faith that they awarded treble damages, which is 3 times the amount. So it could have only been for a $7 million judgment. Trebled, it's 21 million.
That's still a lot of money, though, Attorney Weiss. What is it? Is he having sex with animals? Is he having sex with other the same sex? What is it that would be so bad, or does it matter? But $7 million. What is he? Underage girls? I feel like it has to be.
No, I mean, then he'd be with Diddy and rubbing oil on each other.
Yeah, we have to be careful. We don't put those kind of allegations into the universe. I hadn't heard anything that said that he was doing that. But the thing is, as it relates to the amount, it also has to do with how far you have to fall. So he's a public figure. He's very accomplished. He has an image to protect. And the fact that they were attempting to damage it, he's still getting endorsements. As Sean Carter indicated, he has a charities that he raises money for, that he uses his image for. They were showing up at those places saying, if you don't give us this money, we're going to shame you in front of all these people. And so that's what the ruling was designed to acknowledge, is that he had far to fall. Like if you got Pookie down there in front of the convenience store around the corner of my house, and someone telling Pookie, hey, if you don't give me $5, then I'm going to tell everybody you smoke crack. Like Pookie don't have those kind of damages. Pookie probably is smoking crack, right? City. But Bo, has an image that he has worked hard over the years to build up, and that has value.
Okay, to the tune of 21 million. All right, I'm gonna let you have that one, Attorney Turner.
Let the 21 go.
I'm gonna let you have that one, Attorney Turner. Okay, so for all you attorneys, it clearly what it looks like to me is that these relatives won't be able to pay. What legal recourse does Jackson have? What does he have to do to get them to collect? They clearly don't have, several million dollars. this.
Oh no, and that's the settlement. What today was about was they gave him that $21 million verdict last year. It took about a year to sort of round it up. So okay, you know what? Give me a car, that CD player you got, and just keep your name out of my mouth. And I'm sure they have a ton of provisions of things they can't do. They can't go near his house, right? They got a protective order and all that type of stuff. The thing that's interesting for the algorithms to understand, though, is that extortion is an issue all the time. And even if they didn't ask for the money, if you reveal other people's private information, I see a lot of you people on Facebook and all of that, and somebody will send you a DM and you want to post that up and embarrass them and all that. Be careful, because even outside of asking for money for extortion, that's a crime, by the way. You can go to jail for that. But in addition to that, you can get in trouble just for revealing someone's personal information. If you have a conversation with someone and you reveal the information to embarrass them and do all of that type of stuff, right? Because they were in your DMs and they came at you kind of weird. And so I'm going to encourage you. You might not want to do that, because it's literally there are offenses: intentional infliction of emotional distress,
right?
Invasion of privacy.
I'm being very transparent here, and I can't believe I'm doing this because this is the first time I've ever talked about this. I was extorted. I was extorted before, and the funny part is, if they wanted to really extort him, why didn't they take it not to the internet? Why didn't they take it to like a rag, like a National Enquirer or something?
Who reads the National Enquirer? We talked about that in a couple of shows.
Right. Well, I mean, take it to a more reputable place like Daily Mail or something, and because they'll pay you, they'll pay them for the information, and they would then run the information. That's, I mean, they just weren't thinking.
But they'll get more money from Bo if he wants it shut up, right? What are they going to pay him? The family members, $50 grand, $100 grand for a juicy story. Hey, Bo, we want, $2 million.
I get it, but look, right now they owe $2-3 million. So it didn't work out for you very well, family. It wasn't very smart.
Exactly. It wasn't
all right.
Smart.
All right.
And the other thing is this: look, the person who is being defamed, it has to do with what society thinks the defamation is. So you could have thick skin and you could be like, oh, that don't bother me. But if society says, no, you shouldn't say something like that, guess what? You can get awarded that money.
Okay, got it. All right, let's get to some of these comments. SL said he played baseball and basketball. Tanya Crowder said Al's showing off his hair tonight. Thank you very much. SL says, yeah, that hair swinging in the wind. Oh, God. Abby NYC, the MM family, said his son has been talking about him. Sir Benjamin said, hey, everyone. Sonny Clark said his own son, maybe he was abusive. Danielle Cameron said, I don't know, that picture got Bo looking like he may have been rolling in a Diddy baby oil. You guys are so hard. Abby NYC, the MM family says when he opens his mouth, it's something, because he was trying to run for an elected position. I remember that. It says, sounds like he was at Diddy party and had a crack pipe in his hand. Whoo, y'all are hard. And K-Bob said that throwback pic of Bo Jackson is nasty work. He ain't looking like that in 35. He ain't look like that in 35 years. He looked good, though. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to lie to you. All right, so I guess the lesson here is family and finances often is a recipe for fireworks. All right, let's move on to our second story. Busta Rhymes, next up. Hip-hop heavyweight Busta Rhymes. Yes, you heard me right. Busta Rhymes at 50 is still fighting. He turned himself in after being accused of assaulting his former assistant in Brooklyn. TMZ reports that an argument escalated, leading to a warrant for his arrest. While his legal team hasn't issued a statement yet, the incident shines a spotlight on workplace disputes and the entertainment world. All right, so let's go to you, Attorney Turner. So we know under the New York law, what are the potential charges for assault and how serious can they get? And when I say how serious, I mean especially when it's someone like a celebrity.
Well, someone like a celebrity is facing the same potential assault charges as the rest of us. In this case, the reason it's egregious is the same reason for the Nicki Minaj thing. And now I think that maybe it's just an epidemic that people are just knocking their assistants upside the head. They think they can, right? They think they can. It's kind of egomaniacal when you think about it, because you're taking advantage of somebody who is dependent on you for their livelihood.
Right. Right.
And you know, it harkens back to slavery when you think about it, right? You don't do what I want you to do. Here you go. And so it's interesting, though, the tea on the internet. I was listening to some other people talking about this today. They're calling the assistant a punk for going to the police and all this kind of stuff. I don't think that's fair. I think if you went to work to do a job and you left slapped, then you have the right to press charges. And so what Busta is facing is potential conviction for this alleged assault. If it goes forward, it might go away, right? The assistant may have a change of heart and decide that they don't want to cooperate with it. That might be motivated by a lot of things, right? You can't really pay someone off to drop criminal charges, but it kind of happens all the time. I don't know the nature of their relationship. You know, if they're friends in addition to him being the assistant, that happens a lot, right? So I'm not sure what emotions kind of led to this. But if it doesn't go away, Busta's in some trouble.
Hey, Shatana, is that friends in air quotes?
Right.
Attorney Carter, if I was this assistant, the assistant's probably making $100,000. Now, this assistant, unlike Nicki Minaj's claim, obviously was real because Busta, they issued a warrant. So obviously it happened, and it probably happened in a bad way. I would take him for all he got.
Well, here's what happened here. He went to the emergency department and got treatment. And so that's the difference between this one and the Nicki one. That guy was just crying in the bathroom. Who knows why, right? But this one, it was significant. I mean, Busta, did you see those hands? You know, Busta right now, it's a problem. Busta needs to go to anger management, right? And if he was wearing that ring, he did some real damage to the guy, right? So that's what the difference is with him and Nicki's case.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would definitely press charges. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, he's pressing charges. No, he called the police while he was there. Busta hit him 9 times in the face.
Damn. Right?
9 times, exactly. Busta's a big dude. I'm sure he was rapping while he was doing it too. You know how Busta do. But you stay off your phone. You stay off your phone. You stay off your phone.
So tell me once again, because I've learned from you guys here on this show that it's intent, right? You can't beat a person more than you think that they can beat you. Is that what the rule was that I learned here?
I don't know.
But that's a good one. But here's the thing about that. That's pretty much it. But certainly you can't when the other dude didn't hit you first, right? He started the fight, ended the fight. The other dude, and it's kind of interesting for Busta because, you know, will he go to jail? Normally you wouldn't. All right, a simple fight like that, you know, especially if you're rich and famous. I looked it up. Busta, this is his 5th run-in with the law. All right, arrested for gun possession, 98, accused of assaulting a fan, 2022, 2006, multiple charges, including once again assaulting a former driver. Busta, keep your hands off the employees. All right. Arrested for throwing a protein drink at a gym employee.
All right.
And it's just like, brother, God, I mean, if I'm rich, all right, can rap, all right,
I would have all of the ladies not married. I'm like you. I am definitely like you. SL said, yep, those roids are raging. Those steroids are raging. Abby NYC, she agrees. TK says he has had a past of hitting fans. Just another YouTube channel. Hello, everyone. What is the chosen emoji for Jason? It's a shield. Jason's emoji is a shield. Sir Benjamin said, agree, Attorney Turner. Press those charges. All right, everybody. I guess this is what I want to know, though. Would it be considered workplace? What constitutes workplace-related claims like this? Because he's his assistant or because he works in his home? Because he probably works out of his own home.
If he's employed, he has a related...
A workplace. Okay, got it.
well. So,
and we should be
to
clear.
answer your question about the assault, where it could lead, Busta also has some sort of companion civil charges for damages, which means money for this person who he beat up. That is just coming. It just hasn't come yet because
Got it.
preceded the civil.
All
And
right.
just one more fact thing before we get Jace is that, you know, the reason he, by the way, busted it and went upside his head is because the guy was on his cell phone at work while he was supposed to be working for Busta. So this is definitely workplace related because he's mad that he was on his cell phone while he was supposed to be at work. There's no doubt workplace related.
And I just want to let people know before you start putting your hands on people, especially in the state of New York, misdemeanor assaults can carry up to a year in jail. And the fact that it's from, 9 times, I can only imagine what that assistant's face looked like. That could lead to some serious assault charges. All right. Time will tell if Busta can clear his name. From Brooklyn, we head over to Staten Island because another hip hop has found themselves in a hot seat. Wu-Tang Clan's Method Man may be stepping into some legal trouble. According to the New York Post, he's accused of involvement in an altercation at a Crunch Fitness gym in Staten Island, leaving one person injured. No official statement from Method Man's camp, but rumors are swirling that it was his daughter's boyfriend. Oh my goodness. Okay, Mr. Weiss, this is your guy because he is very big in lacrosse. When multiple people are involved in a confrontation, what factors do police and prosecutors consider to determine who's at fault?
So first of all, got to give the shout out to Method Man. He's a huge lacrosse supporter, and I love that. And thank you for doing that. I have a son who plays a ton of lacrosse. So here's the thing: he was involved in this altercation, okay, and he allegedly punched this ex-boyfriend of his daughter. But from everything that is being reported is that the ex-boyfriend started it. The ex-boyfriend threw the first punch. The ex-boyfriend started doing all this. So Method Man was the one who was attacked first. Now, back to what you artfully said earlier, Your Honor, you're allowed to use as much force as you think is going to be used against you. So if fingers were laid on Method Man's allowed to go ahead and return those fingers right back.
Got it.
So Method Man is denying any allegations that have been out there. He has not been subject to arrest. They're not looking into him. Chances are there's going to be no criminal complaint against him. And the only reason that this hit the press is because Method Man is a well-known person and was involved in an altercation. But on this one, he's the victim. He got hit first. Now, look, he's a big, strong dude, and he was working out at the gym. So if someone hits him, he's hitting back, and chances are it's two hits, right? He hits you, you hit the floor. So that's probably what happens.
How about them roids?
I don't know if he's got roids. Cross players don't do roids. We're good people.
He's not a lacrosse player. Attorney Carter, could the gym face liability for not intervening or for negligence of any sort?
Yes, but not likely. All right. What happens is for the gym to have any responsibility, this had to be something that's foreseeable. Something happens every 2 weeks. All right. So, for instance, if it was a Waffle House, all right, yeah, they know that this stuff's going to jump off in the Waffle House, right?
Right.
But there's no history, because maybe you set more security. But if you've never had anybody fighting in the gym before, you wouldn't know. The thing that's bad about it is they kind of now are on notice that something could happen. So the next time something happens, they might have some culpability. But for now, they should be fine.
Okay. All right. Danielle Cameron said, let my husband do something to me. My daddy gonna, wait a minute, y'all going fast. My daddy going to jail and my kids gonna miss their daddy. High Maintenance says he must have been out of his mind. You've seen that body on daddy. All right. And Sir Benjamin says, I didn't know the ex-boyfriend hit Method Man. I didn't either. I didn't hear that either. Yeah, he got the right to put them paws on that bum. Ex-boyfriend. Where'd it go? Y'all moving so fast tonight. All right, ex-boyfriend of his daughter, LOL. Sonny Clark said lacrosse is hard, and they can't hit each other with them sticks. JP Mills said Method Man cannot do any wrong. All right, last question for the panel. Do you guys think that his celebrity status how does celebrity status influence the public perception and possibly the outcome of a case like this?
Well,
Go ahead, Attorney Turner. I was just going to say we got to go ahead and talk about Attorney Turner and Method Man. So go ahead, Attorney Turner.
Yeah, Method Man is happily married, but I do get to admire him from afar. And so if things don't go right, he could call me. Method Man could get it. But I have to have my tribute to hip hop culture, because if you guys followed Wu-Tang, all I have to say is that by hitting this guy 7 times and stopping whatever was trying to get started, Method Man proved that he ain't nothing to mess with. Do you remember that hit song?
Yes.
That was the thing. But the celebrity is why this is in the news, Your Honor, right?
Okay.
Because as Attorney Weiss indicated, he's not been charged. So who is going around talking about potential cases against regular people? Nobody. They're talking about this because he is Method Man. And it also goes into like the tough guy persona he's been embodying as an actor too. And so that helps to go with it. Like, he's been showing his abs everywhere. Method Man is very proud of the fact that he is not aging gracefully. He has pressed pause on the aging clock, and he looks good.
Sipping the tea says, I'm crying. Sir Benjamin says, yes, anything with a celebrity publicly creates notoriety with the victim. Tasia Davis says, can't even hate on the man. He's definitely looking great for his age. And Nola F. Ryan says, baby, me and Method Man can get real. Wait a minute. Baby, me and Method Man can get real
cute
over some buttery Chardonnay and candlelight. You know that buttery Chardonnay would take you there, Nola. You know that's my drink. I know that was funny. And then Abby NYC said he's embraced his sex symbol for sure. And then somebody up here said, I wanted to read this comment. Somebody was getting real messy. Fairy Aja says, if he is sleeping with these men, does it change the charges workplace versus domestic?
I think that goes back
they're talking about Busta.
That's not Method.
Ooh, Fairy Aja. Ooh, you did that. All right, everybody. That's another big question mark. So stay tuned. Now on to a very different kind of headline involving politics and defamation. In a political twist, Rudy Giuliani, and I can't wait to talk about this. Who we got covering that? We got Sean Carter covering this. In a political twist, Rudy Giuliani has settled a defamation lawsuit brought by Georgia election workers Ruby Freeman and Wandrea Shea Moss, 2 African-American women. CNN and the Washington Post confirmed he agreed to stop making false claims of voter fraud that endangered these women. Financial terms remain under wraps, but this underscores the real-world impact of misinformation. All right, so this is what I wanted you to break down for me, Attorney Carter, and anybody else that wants to help. Those ladies got a whirlwind, right, of money. What was it, like north of 45 million? What was it?
148.
$148 million. All right. How was he able to escape paying that judgment? And why did the courts allow him to reduce it and also keep all of his homes and some of his personal possession items that had worth?
Now, I have to admit, the first question is, Rudy doesn't have $148 million. Right? He got at most 10 and that bad dye job. All right. So that's worth maybe 10, 2. All right. But he didn't have 148. So they weren't going to get 148. Now, the thing was, you're right, though. How does he keep both homes?
Right.
The thing was that the judge had already ordered that he had to turn over the New York Manhattan apartment, which was worth $6 million of the 10. So that's most of his assets, some luxury watches, furniture, baseball memorabilia, etc. And he didn't do it. But they were supposed to get that. And He was trying to keep his Florida home, saying that's his homestead. Normally, you get to, as part of bankruptcy, get to keep your primary residence. Right. They don't want you in the street, right? So he was probably going to keep that, but they were having trouble getting even the stuff that they were supposed to get. And he's, hiding it and doing whatever. And they're like, this old man, we can't chase him around forever. We're never going to get this stuff. Let's just get what we can now. They probably got a few $1 million upfront cash. I'm guessing here, totally making this up. Trump and his boys, hand them a few $1,000,000 that pay the ladies off, and you can keep your stuff, and because we need you, by the way, to do some shady stuff in the future, so we need to keep you, good. But this is the thing we talk about almost every week on this show. You can get a large verdict, all right, $1 trillion, but if the other person doesn't have it, all right, then you have to settle for a lot less than
right.
that.
I understand that, Attorney Carter, but what I don't understand, and no one is explaining to me now, and Jason, I'm gonna go to you. How was he able to not give up that New York apartment? I can understand the Florida house because of the Homestead Act or whatever, but why was he able to keep the Hamptons home, the New York home, or the upstate New York home, and the New York City home? Why was he able to keep those?
Well, I don't know if he was able to keep them. A lot of it has to do with how it's titled, right? So I'm married in Florida, so I get double homestead protection, right? Because if something came down on me, I get homestead protection from the state, and let's just say whatever, my wife's name is on the house too. They can't take that away from her. So a lot of times what people will do when they're intelligently planning, it is you put your brother, sister, aunt, uncle, sister, brother's college roommate on the property with you, and then they can't take it. Same thing with your bank account. Same thing with your investment funds, right? If a judgment comes down in Giuliani's name, like it did, and it's something that he owns by himself, whoop, they're taking it. But if it's something he owns with his wife, his kid, his spouse, his dog, his aunt, they can't touch it, because then they would have to force it, and that's right. Part of the problem. The bigger thing here is, and I still don't get it, and I'm sure this is not the point of this discussion, but he went from hero to zero in warp speed, and I'm still remembering him from 9/11. He was the hero and the sign of hope, and now you got a guy in the last picture who looks like he's falling apart. Like literally looks like he's falling apart.
Jay Wadley has a good question. Why doesn't the court jail folks who lose cases and duck the verdicts?
Because it's not they can look. It takes a lot to get there, right? You have to file a motion for contempt, and then you have to be found in contempt, and then you have to give the opportunity. Look, there was a judge here in South Florida who retired, where I remember I was a new attorney in the courtroom, and he turns to the guy on the other side and he goes, "The next time you show up here, if you don't show up with a check, bring your toothbrush because you're spending the night." And I was like, whoa. So the judges have that authority, but putting him in jail, what good is that going to do to help pay the $140 million?
Well, considering what those ladies had to go through from those Trumpsters, which was death threats, following them, running them off the road, and threatening their life, that is why they should have to pay, to be honest with you. It's absolutely horrible. Okay, sorry.
One other quick thing to remember is it's not my understanding that Giuliani had exhausted his appeals, right? And so he was delaying the payout until he had exhausted his appeals. And so what he was likely able to convince the lawyers who were representing these women is that he could have drawn it out in the appeal process, and they wouldn't have gotten anything for a long time. And so they won't take your property if you still have the legitimate right for appeals. So
right. And let's not forget this happened 8 years ago, everybody.
And the rumor is he's going to be running for office in 20 whatever it is, so that he can excuse himself. He's following the Trump thing. So.
Okay, last question though. But I have never seen this ever in my life. Why was he having press conferences, and why were the press conferences allowed to be had about how broke he was?
He's just trying to go ahead.
How many people have run in with the law, lose, get charged, and has a press conference?
He's still
a public figure. I thought it was a brilliant PR move.
Well, sorry, that goes to the point that you were making in the other case about our celebrities treated differently. In this case, he exploited his celebrity to try to prey on the hearts of the public, to say, that's why he looks broke down, Attorney Weiss, is because he don't want to go up there looking like he's aging like Method Man. He wants to go up there looking old and broke.
Right. Okay, so let me ask you this question then, because this is the part that pisses me out. Okay, so when stuff like this happen, isn't this going to set precedents or influence future lawsuits like this, where the person, obviously loses, owes all this money, goes and knows how to play pickleball with the court system so that they can have it reduced. Like, what is this actually saying to all the other people? Like, A, what is it saying to the jury that gave the women that money? Thank you for your service, but it wasn't good enough. We're going to change it to $2 million instead of $146 million. And what does it say for other people who find themselves in the same situation? You're going to end up saying, listen, I'm not protected.
Yeah, but look, you earn all this money. You do all these things. You need to protect yourself. That's why you have wills. That's why you have trusts. That's why you have buy property in Florida. That's why you do these things. Because if let's just say he happened to get sued and lost for something he didn't do. I'm not saying that's the case here. Then they would be taking everything away. So it's called financial planning and financial protection. And everybody should do it. I don't care if you have $2 or $2 billion. Plan ahead.
Well, I think the other thing to remember, Your Honor, you brought this up several times. We did this last week with who is that, T.I. and Tiny, is that just because you get a judgment for a certain amount of money doesn't mean you're getting that money, because they have the right to appeal, to try to stretch it out, etc. And in this case, certainly the women are entitled to money. $148 million is a lot. All right, generational wealth is a whole lot. And the idea is that, if you get a big verdict, doesn't mean you're going to get it, right? And so, definitely, if you're out there inaugurating and you get a big verdict, don't go spend the money yet. All right, you might want to wait till you get a check or two. Don't buy it. Don't go out spending anybody.
And if you need help collecting on $148 million, I'm happy to take that one.
One other quick point, Your Honor, as it relates to the concept of justice and awards being reduced. We've hinted at this a couple times, but I don't know that we've talked about it, is juries can award verdicts and the judge can unilaterally reduce it. People don't really pay attention to that, but it's called a remitter. And it means the judge could say, you know what, jury got out of control. We don't think it's worth this much. And they just cut it. So our perceptions of what juries do and what we're entitled to, I think, needs to be managed as opposed to jurors feeling like their service didn't matter. Got it.
All right. I like what this Just Another YouTube channel says. They lock up people for not paying child support, but can't lock up Rudy Giuliani for endangering those people's lives. That is super duper interesting to me. All right, everybody, please hit that like button, because the likes just start liking. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're already subscribed. Hit the share button and invite some folks over to learn about all this drama as well as learning the law. Turn on your notifications. And as always, we're loving it tonight. You're jumping down in the comments. Let's go to the comments. Danny Callender says, simple answer. Rudy found a benefactor who paid them something they could live with. Lee, Wiley, Coyote, Smith, already fallen, not fallen. Abby NYC, with Trump pardoning folks, the harassment may be worse with him as president. Daniel Cameron says, Jason got me side-eyeing my husband. I'll be damned if we get divorced. He going to get anything but my 2 cents. Y'all are funny tonight. Okay, serious ramifications indeed. Words can lead to lawsuits. Now let's switch gears to personal health and guardianship issues. Oh, how sad is this? But is it really? I would say at minimum it's interesting. Media icon Wendy Williams remains under court-appointed guardianship as she battles dementia, per the New York Times and TMZ. Her personal and financial affairs are overseen by a guardian, a move designed to protect her from potential exploitation. Yet fans wonder how this affects her freedom. All right, let's go to the bailiff real quick. Bailiff, let's run that clip from her on The Breakfast Club the other day.
Like, I'm exhausted thinking about, what if I can't see my dad for his birthday? At 94, the day after that is not promised. It's not
Right.
promised. You know, I have things from my dad that's in storage, and they're little things that I say, you know, I'm not going to give it to him, but I'm going to sew them and make them so that they look perfect on me. You know what I'm saying? Yes,
Right.
I know how to sew. I've known how to sew for years. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying, like, I want to give my dad some sort of fragrance. You know, I want to go to Sephora and pick and choose what right now I feel.
Yeah.
My life is like fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is.
Alex,
It's a lot.
Alex, do you think that
So
there'll be some type of retaliation from the Guardian because of
This
you know
call.
maybe this phone call or because of
Yeah.
wow.
We've talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my aunt, even with her wanting to come on, we talked about all scenarios. I said, you know, if you do this, you ready for what's on the other side?
All right, so before we get started, I do want to read a comment that Abby NYC, the MM family, said, and it makes a lot of sense to me. Would Wendy be helping any other celebrity going through this or capitalizing on it? Our turn. Interesting. I like that comment. I have been drugged by Wendy, talked about a topic for months on end, days after day. I don't know that I can have the empathy that everybody else has for Wendy. And to be honest, I didn't hear anything in that conversation that would make me think that she's okay to the point where she doesn't need some type of help. Now, I understand that the conservatorship can be very restrictive. I understand that the conservatorship could be, you know, bad in her not getting her way, but conservatorships are there for a reason. And she just didn't get a conservatorship because she woke up one day and they said, okay, we're going to handcuff Wendy and put a conservatorship on her. So I'm going to go to you, Attorney Carter. Tell me about conservatorships. Tell me what it would take for her to get out of this conservatorship. And what were your thoughts about what you heard today?
Yeah, I'm biased. Let me tell you, biased. I have a son who is autistic, and has, you know, intellectual disabilities. We have guardianship over him. You know, we have all of his assets. He's with us for life. By the way, guardianship is rough because you lose all rights as a human being. All right, he can't vote, you can't drive, nothing. Now, in his case, to get that, and by the way, this is someone who doesn't talk, who's clearly mentally incapacitated, and it took a lot to get the guardianship. You had to go there; they had to appoint a guardian ad litem that was his representative. That would look for him. They'd come through our house, make sure he's being adequately cared for, go through our finances, all this stuff for a case that was obviously the case that he was incapacitated. Wendy is not so obviously so, but somehow going through all that process, they were still able to conclude that she needed a guardianship for now. For now. Well, actually, not true, because her lawyer came on and said, hey, people like this have good days and bad days.
Right.
He has a situation of dementia that we think is going to get worse. So we don't expect that she's going to get, you know, off of the guardianship, but certainly periodically they come back to court. And so the point is that it didn't just one day they just threw her in and locked her up somewhere. It's a process, a long process to go through with checks and balances. Sometimes though people get locked up and shouldn't be, but for the most part, I tend to give it the benefit of the doubt. If this many professionals said that she needs to be, you know, somewhere for her own protection, I usually go with it.
Right. All right, let's go. But we'll go back. But I gotta be a chef, says Al. I don't know how you opened that up talking about her, Lord. You will never get over how she did you in 2002. No, it's not that I don't get over it. I'm clearly living past my life. I'm just saying, to me, a lot of this feels, smells, and looks and sounds like karma. She had spent a lot of years, you know, talking a lot of trash about people regardless of their circumstances. Think of Wendy Williams. Wendy Williams clearly was battling with addiction issues, but she didn't care about her life when she was on her road to destruction. That's all I'm saying. Okay, Attorney Turner, what were you saying?
Well, the types of transgression she did against you and against Diddy and against Whitney Houston and against all of the numerous people that she dragged through the mud over the years, you get popped in the mouth like Busta did his assistant for that. You don't get all of your rights taken away because you ran your mouth too much, right? In this case, her liberty has been taken with the guardianship, and so she can make no decisions for herself. But we have to separate a couple of things. She's complaining about the guardianship because it's resulted in her being in a home. And she feels like she's in prison and she's there with a bunch of old people. And so one of the things that the court might evaluate is whether the decision by the guardian to put her in skilled nursing, if that's appropriate, because that sounded like, at least from what I was reading, the source of her objection. So there's two separate things: her legal status as a citizen who can make their own decisions, and then where does she live and what does her life look like? And so where she's living and what her life looks like seems to be in a situation that's causing her a great deal of stress. But she's been diagnosed with front temporal dementia and aphasia. But the interesting thing about aphasia, it's supposed to influence how you process information, how you read, how you think, and how you speak. And she sounded pretty lucid on the radio show, which is why her lawyer came back and said, well, these people have good days and bad days, because they're like, if you talk to Wendy and she sounds like she's got it, she doesn't, and call another day and find her when she doesn't make sense.
And that's something that I've dealt with.
I didn't understand the whole, what did her father give her that she's going to sew together and put on and wear and look pretty?
Just things that from past. She was going through boxes and wanted to do all of this, and again, like when we draft wills and trusts and all that, and we need to, as attorneys, like look at things. I've had clients come in and they say, we got to do it first thing in the morning because the parent isn't as lucid in the afternoon, or they're not with it and all of this. When she was on this Breakfast Club show and on there, she said she feels like a prisoner under the conservatorship, and I don't know if we have that video that you could queue up, because it says she feels like a prisoner. Do we have that? And I understand, Your Honor, that I need to ask permission from the court to play it, but I think it's important.
Yeah, let's see it.
Williams is currently trapped in a conservatorship. If you don't know what a conservatorship is, it's when someone is in charge of making decisions on your behalf, but usually because the conservatee is not able to make decisions for themselves. Wendy can make her own decisions. She is not cognitively impaired. She is not incapacitated. She is being taken advantage of.
Right.
Wendy, tell us what's going on.
First of all, to start with, my niece Alex knows a lot as well, but I am not cognitively impaired. You know what I'm saying? No, but I feel like I am in prison. You understand what I'm saying? I'm in New York City, right? And Alex, you know exactly what you're talking about. You flew from Miami to New York, and you were right here with me. Go ahead.
She's there in New York, in this place, essentially like what some would call a luxury prison. This is her room. That's literally her apartment. But the thing about this apartment, and you know this, not Wendy, because you're there, it's small. She has a bed, a chair, a TV, a bathroom, and she's looking out one window.
And, excuse me, through my money, I had this person buy the TV, the kind of TV I like, through this person, because all of my stuff is in storage. You understand what I'm saying?
But I mean,
I still don't get it.
That's a classic rehab place, right? You're in rehab. You're not in rehab at Mar-a-Lago. You're at rehab in a place where you are contained. And look, the whole goal is to get her eventually out of the conservatorship so that she could take care of herself. And at some point in time, God willing, that'll happen.
Yeah. Something in the milk ain't clean. SL says she wants her way to drink and have her folks get what she wants. She's demanding. Abby NYC says she took a big gamble playing the chin. I'm not sure what that means. Tanya Crowder says, gosh, you guys are moving so fast. What did Tanya Crowder say? The lady gave away her cats. They're messing with her mentally. What did someone says up here?
Someone said through her money are keywords. And that I picked up on that too. It's my money.
Okay, Miss P says, Al, you and Wendy were in the same boat. She talked about celebrities, and so do you. No difference. Yes, it is. It wasn't salacious. In fact, on this show, we're talking about legal issues. We're not slandering people or talking or for Numbers.
Okay.
Sir Benjamin L., I agree. Spiritually, she's reaping what she's sown, but we must forgive and pray. I agree with that. Even Wendy Williams needs prayer. Yes, she does. All right. Sip the tea said, you guys know what's happening. That's wild. And Felicia, oh, y'all, this is moving so glad. Sorry. Patricia Caro says, Wendy's in a posh 55 and up. Such a sad story.
Spears, though, so Wendy Williams, regardless of what her impairment is, and it was litigated, and so a judge concluded she needed the guardianship. This just isn't like a bunch of family members who got together and decided they were going to put her in a home and take her money. But I will say what she seems to have retained, regardless of this frontal temporal dementia, is the ability to manipulate the media. So it seems she's taking a page out of Britney Spears' book, because Britney Spears successfully got her control of her money back and got her father to stop having her on a conservatorship. Different situation, but same strategy. I wouldn't be surprised if we keep hearing about Wendy, because what she wants is for this to get revisited.
Well, she went on the Don Lemon show. She's going on every show that will take her call, right? So that's how you know that it's a campaign to get out, because she doesn't like being in it. Okay, someone on here asked, what happened how did the courts get her? Why didn't a family member take her? Well, that was the issue. No one in her family would take her. Right? That's what we found out. No one in the family would take her. So, this is where it landed. It's sad. It's unfortunate, and it's going to get interesting. Now, let me ask this final question. Can Wendy's family, and I mean, we see a lot of talk from this niece. Why isn't this same conversation coming from her son or from her brother? Why are we seeing all of the mouthpiece talk narrative coming from the niece? Why isn't her son saying, I want my mother out? They are holding my mother against her will. Why isn't her brother saying, I want my sister out? I need her free now. Why is it just the niece, counselors?
It's hard to know what's going on privately in the family, but what happens sometimes is that family members who are not intimately involved get their panties in a wad and try to interject themselves and try to pursue justice. In this case, it sounds like the niece doesn't even live there. She flew up from wherever she lives, paid her aunt to visit, and has concluded that it's unfair. The people who are there all the time may not share her opinion, which is why she was on the show by herself.
And she flew up to see the aunt so that she makes sure that she's in the will or something.
Right. Remember, she's also on television in Miami, right? She's a news personality in Miami. So,
but again, one of the things that's important is this wasn't just one person saying we're making the decision she's not mentally competent, right? There are multiple people. There's even the Guardian, who was court appointed, who has no skin in the game at all. She's a very well-established attorney. She knows what her stuff. Sabrina Morrissey, I think is her name. She's out there. She does elder law. She does all this. The goal here is not to punish Wendy Williams. The goal here is to get her to protect herself, to get her help, and eventually allow her to live life the way that she wants. But the court doesn't see it that she's fit to do that at this point in time.
Right. Yeah. Well, counselors, what has to happen in order for her to get a different decision? I mean, only that one family member is contesting it. Why isn't the son contesting it? I just have so many questions. Yeah, and can they modify the guardianship, Attorney Carter?
Irene in the chat is saying that the son has been advocating and says, shame on us for not being prepared.
Son has been advocating. Well, I'm saying that wasn't what I said. I wanted to know on television, in the media, why isn't he taking conferences? Why isn't he going on the Breakfast Club? To me, in the media, if you really want to turn on the heartstrings, you go talk to the Breakfast Club and talk about your mother and talk about how your mother came to your graduation and she's a different woman now and she deserves to be out of the conservatorship. Coming from a son is a lot different than coming from this niece, in my opinion.
Well, and let's be clear, because this is where we always get in trouble. And by the way, I got in this trouble myself personally a few years ago. True story. I'm on Facebook 3 a.m. because I don't have no sense. And a young woman literally sends a text, sends a post out that says, Sean King, tags me and Sean King. All right. And says, I don't know how we got to be the same, but we both named Sean and Black. That's, well, mostly Black. That's close enough. All right. And says, I'm being 5150. That means I'm being taken away to jail, taken away to a mental institution. My husband is 5150 me, and you got to help me. I get out. I got to know a lot of lawyers. I assemble a team of lawyers. We start trying to work to get this woman out, and I get a call from her family. And the family says, you don't know this woman. She needs to be where she is. And we back the heck off. We, as outside of the law, outside from the public, we think, oh, she looks fine. She looks fine. We don't know how this woman is. And if professionals have sat there and made that determination, I hear people talking about, you don't do your research. I didn't. You know who did? The guardian ad litem did their research. The judge did his research. The attorney for the guardianship did their research. I'm not going to overturn that and say that, oh, I know better because I saw one interview with her on TMZ. All right. And so this idea that somehow, and here's the thing is, remember we freed Britney? Britney is in her drawers right now making a TikTok video, right, in her foyer. That woman ain't right. All right. Somebody, I'm not saying she needed a conservatorship, but somebody needed to put some clothes on the young girl. All right. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, God.
The fact that you saw her on the Wendy Williams on the on her voice on Charlamagne the God show means that somehow we need to overturn the whole court. Right, overturn what the courts and everybody else.
All right, let's hold on. We're running out of time. The producer said we need to read some comments. All right. All right. Y'all got Mr. Carter heated. I remember her last Wendy episode, and the next day she was a whole different person. That's sipping the tea. Perpetual Flower Industry says we don't trust the judge. Danielle Cameron said Britney Spears is proof we don't need to be in the business. Irene says, oh, they did their research. All right. Sipping the tea is if anything happens to the son, Wendy won't have too much respect, and her son is going to be a lawyer to help his mama. Okay. Sonny Clark says, I just hope these crazy fans don't pop up on the conservator and start stalking and harassing her, because this could lead to a whole nother level of lockdown for Wendy. I agree with that one, because that could be very touch and go there. KS says, Al, the brother and her son have both spoken out about this. That are you guys missing what I'm saying? Okay, I'm talking about going on national platforms like the Breakfast Club. So I understand and have seen them talk out about that. Okay. Sasha S says, Al, you need to help Wendy get out. She always spoke very highly of you. That's a good one. My Sonny says, shame for speaking without adequate research. Okay, great. Janet Hunter says, how much does a court-appointed guardian get paid? It's not a lot, guys. It's less than 100.
It's a lot of work, and it's no
money on it. I don't know why.
Minimal.
Hey, you cannot spend that lady's money, because I have worked with a conservator lawyer with one of my clients when I was at the bank. After watching, Tasia Davis says, after watching I Care a Lot. These situations always make me say, All right, let's keep it going. Let's see, did I miss anything? Sunny SL says, yep, swinging on a pole in our living room. SD Max said,
Your Honor, one quick thing to the point about the person who said they can't spend the money. They're right. This is why people don't like to be guardian. They have to keep copious records about how they spend the money. They can't just be out there making it rain wherever they want. The other thing is, as it relates to the son, he questioned what certain decisions the guardian was making. I've not seen anything that says he thinks that she needs to have control over her own life.
Right. And also, but you got to also remember the son in the beginning, when they did an audit, he was spending $100,000 a month on Uber Eats. So he was under the scrutiny of his spending habits, and he was getting the money from his mother. This case has so many layers to it, and we could talk about it all night. Maybe we will revisit it as things unfold. But I do want, and I will say this with all sincerity, I know that my lawyers here believe the same. We do wish Wendy the best. We want her to get healthy, and we want her to get well so that she will have her own control of her money. All right, so next up, we'll let our court of public opinion viewers have the final say on these cases. First up, everybody, it's time for guilty or not guilty in the court of public opinion. We'll recap each headline, and you decide where you stand. You, the viewers. Remember, this is purely an unofficial verdict. Real courts have the final say. First up, Bo Jackson's family. Are they guilty or not guilty of trying to get Bo Jackson's money? Attorney Carter, what say you?
They're guilty of doing it stupid. All right, absolutely. You said what you said before. You tell the story that go on Charlemagne's show. All right, but you don't try to.
Right, that's right. If that's what you're gonna do. All right, Attorney Turner.
Yeah, the niece and nephew, they're guilty. You know, unfortunately, you can't pick your family. And so, but I'm glad Bo won. Like I said, Bo knows how to win.
All right, Attorney Weiss.
Bo knows diddly. A long commercial that I loved, and his family's guilty of just using his fame and stealing his money.
All right, I'm Alan. I'm the judge here in Celebrity Court of Public Opinion, and we're going to find those family members guilty. Guilty is charged for trying to take that man's money. Next up, Busta Rhymes assault allegations. Is Busta Rhymes guilty or not guilty of beating up his assistant? Attorney Weiss, what say you?
He is guilty of being a dodo bird and doing that. He shouldn't lay his fingers on it. You don't want somebody using their cell phone at work? Fire them. Be done. Don't hit them.
All right, Attorney Turner.
I feel bad saying this because my sister and I, we kicked it with Busta and Spliff back in the day, and it was a good time. However, call me if you want to know details. But however, I agree with Attorney Weiss. Like, this is just all kinds of wrong, and you just can't put hands on people who work for you.
Absolutely. Okay, Attorney Carter, what say you?
For all the rappers out there, and it's going to be in the one next Monday when we do the show again, you can't put your hands on people. And here's the thing is, you got a whole bunch of people in their crew anyway. Why don't you get them to do it for you? They carry the weed, they carry the guns, they beat up the employees for you. Stop doing that.
And they have to drive you around when you're intoxicated.
Sir Benjamin says, throw him to the lines. Miss P says, Busta not guilty. All right. Lee Y Coyote says, Busta is guilty. Ferry Aja said, guilty. Bo knows he knows. Oh, no, that's another one. Okay. All right. I'm Al, and I'm the judge here in Celebrity Court of Public Opinion. We're going to find Busta Rhymes guilty. Guilty is charged. Man, Busta, you're too smart for this. You just got inducted into the Hall of Fame. Like, come on, brother. That means you got lots of money. Don't let people have your money because you can't control your anger. All right, next up. Who's next on our next up? Method Man. Well, we know how Shatan's going to decide on this. Is Method Man guilty or not guilty of beating up his daughter's ex-boyfriend? Attorney Turner.
Method Man is guilty of being fine. Method Man is guilty of being a good dad. And
the man guilty or not guilty for assault? Can we say
he's not guilty? I think it was self-defense. And if he wants, I'll be a witness. I wasn't there.
You want me to dare? Turner. You need to go drink some cold water. All right, Attorney Carter. Is he guilty or not guilty for assault?
You know, he's not guilty. The other guy hit him first. All right. And here's the weird part is I thought Method Man was going to be on site. Because I don't know, like people say in the comments. All right. You hit my daughter and I don't care where I see you in the world. We could be in church. I'm low. I'm gonna hit a two-piece on you. Right. So the fact that Method Man actually had the restraint to wait till this guy threw the first punch, he's double not guilty.
All right. Attorney Weiss.
Method Man, the only thing he is guilty of is being a celebrity, so his name got thrown in. He needs to take his long pole lacrosse stick and bash this guy over the head with it. Not guilty.
All right, I'm Alan. I'm the judge here in Celebrity Court of Public Opinion, and we're going to find Method Man not guilty, not guilty. Let's see if any comments feel any differently. Let's see. No, eyes. No. What do y'all think about Method Man? Is he guilty or not guilty? All right. Oh, I do want to get to.
Fine man is not guilty of anything.
Huh?
Miss P, she captured it. She said that fine man is never guilty of anything.
All right, Top of the Hill says Al's comments about Wendy were so tacky. Well, thank you, Top of the Hill. I'm glad you thought they were tacky. I think your comments are tacky, and we'll keep it moving. All right, next up, Rudy Giuliani. Is Rudy Giuliani guilty or not guilty of paying his debt? Attorney Turner, what say you?
Rudy Giuliani is not guilty of paying his debt because I think he manipulated the system to reduce it. So he is guilty of brilliant lawyering, and I think that he's just on the road to continually being reprehensible.
All right, am I still on the picture? Because my computer just went completely blank.
You are here, Your Honor.
Oh, okay. All right, next up, I don't know what's going on with my computer over here. Next up, Wendy Williams. Okay, here we go.
Oh, wait, the other one that you get to vote about Giuliani.
Yeah, I want to say Giuliani is guilty.
All right, and I'm the judge here in Celebrity Court, and I'm going to find Giuliani guilty of hiding assets and not paying those black women their money that he really created a lot of tension and hate around them. They couldn't even go to church, guys. So we're going to find Giuliani guilty. Last but not least, Wendy Williams' guardian, who's over her guardianship. Is she guilty or not guilty of holding Wendy against her will? Attorney Turner, what says you?
I'm going to err on the side of the guardian is not guilty here. This is a complex situation. Wendy's in trouble, and I don't think that phone call reflects everything there is to know. All right, Attorney Carter.
I couldn't say it any better than Attorney Turner. I certainly couldn't say it any cuter. So I'm gonna have to say exactly what she said. And once again, I'm gonna say it again. We freed Britney. And I'm not sure we would do it again today.
Well, right. All right, Attorney Weiss.
I don't think the conservator is guilty of anything. I think if anything, the court made the decision and the court appointed the conservator. That's how I look at it.
All right, I'm Al, and I'm the judge here in Celebrity Court of Public Opinion, and we're going to find that guardian not guilty. Remember, she's only doing what she was appointed to do. She is doing her job. And there are checks and balances for being a guardian or over her conservatorship. The woman does not have the ability to just hold Wendy because she can. That's not how this works, everybody. So I hate to see it, but the woman is definitely not guilty. There you have it, the unofficial verdicts from our court of public opinion. Now let's bring this session to a close with some legal insights and some call to actions. Now tonight we've navigated everything from family betrayals to alleged celebrity assaults, political defamation, and the ongoing guardianship of a media icon. If we've learned anything, it's that the law is everywhere, from our own relatives to the national spotlight. So here are a few takeaways. Understand the importance of judiciary duties. Understand that you can't just assault people at work. Understand that defamation can happen to all of us, but it's how you handle it that makes the difference. And understand that guardianships are court appointed, in this case with Wendy Williams. Call of action, stay educated. Consult professionals, and if things are happening to you that shouldn't be, speak up. Thank you for joining us on Celebrity Court of Public Opinion. I'm Al Reynolds, reminding you that no one, not even the biggest stars, can escape the reach of the law. Until next time, stay vigilant, stay informed, and remember, justice starts with you. Court is now adjourned. Have a good weekend, everybody.